G'day, Dr. Love back with you again with some more cooking tips for what's better with food, music and love. We put it all together. So I've got a great dish we're going to go through today, and it's called sweet and sour pork. Simple dish, but is your love like that too? Sweet or sour? Well, we'll find out, eh? Pretty simple. We're going to start off with some pork loin, some boneless pork loin, beautiful. Pick it up from the butcher or your local supermarket. I'm just going to cut it up into little slices and then into some squares for you. So I'll show you what that looks like. I prepared some earlier. This is just one. And you want nice little squares, like so. And then what we're going to do, the first part of sweet and sour pork is we actually mix the pork with some corn flour, okay? Because we want to fry that off and we want to make it nice and crispy. Okay, so here is the corn flour, there's the pork, and then we're just going to throw that in there like so, mix it all up until it's evenly coated throughout all the pork. You want it to look like it's snowing, basically. That's about it. Alright, once we've done that, we're going to fry it up and get it nice and crispy before we do the sauce. Okay, now it's time to brown up the pork that we just put in the corn flour. There's all the pork ready down there, and at the moment we've got it there, so you want it sizzling in the pan until we get it nice and brown and golden, and then we'll put it aside on the paper towel, ready for us to cut up the vegetables and then put in the sweet and sour sauce, which we'll go through shortly. Well, the pork's just about all brown. I've set it aside on the paper towel to rest. And now we're going to cut up all the vegetables before we get ready and make the sauce for the sweet and sour. I hope you're excited, because I am. Okay, time to chop up the veggies. Save a little bit of time, I just did it a few minutes ago. Anyway, that's what we've got on there. On the plate, you can see that there's some red onion, just for a bit of colour. There's cabbage in the middle, there's broccoli, there's cauliflower, red peppers, or capsicum we like to call them here in Australia, and some zucchini. So they're all the veggies, ready to rock and roll. We're going to put them in the pan and fry them up, get them nice and hot, and then we'll get the sauce ready, boil it up on the stove at the same time, and then we'll tip it in when it's all ready and then thicken it up. Here we go. Some people ask me sometimes, what sort of knife do you use, Dr. Love, when you're cooking? And I always tell them, a bloody big one. Okay, let's make the sauce while we've got the veggies on the stove, getting all browned up, ready to go. What I normally do, I open up a tin of sliced pineapple and I pour the juice into the pot. There's some juice, pineapple juice sitting in there. And then we're going to add some brown sugar. Right, so 2 good size dessert spoons, you could say, of brown sugar. Okay, tomato sauce. Any old tomato sauce will do. If you like spicy, do a spicy one. So a good spoon of tomato sauce. Soy sauce. Kikkomans, whatever brand you want. Again, a good spoon of that. And then the secret ingredient for the sweet and sour is the apple cider vinegar. Okay, so I'm going to put 2 generous ones of that in. Stir it up. And we're going to put it on the stove, let it boil, and after it's boiled, it's ready to pour over the veggies once the veggies are cooked. Just give it a bit of a taste. Oh yeah, it's going to be good. So as you can see on the stove, I've got the vegetables frying, just giving them a crisp up and a little bit of vegetable oil. We've got the sauce on the stove getting ready, it's starting to boil. There's your pork that was cooked a little bit earlier, resting, ready to go in at the end. And the corn flour that I had left over from when I coated the pork, I put it into a cup with a bit of water because that's going to thicken that lovely sauce when we put it into the vegetables. So all I've done now, I've added the pork into the vegetables. You don't want the veggies to be overcooked, you just want them so they're just past the crunchy stage. Mix in the pork, Now you can do this in a big wok, it might be easier. And we all know that, well, girls love a big wok, don't they? Yeah. Well, I've just got a fry pan, so that's what I'm using. Once I've mixed all that through, I'm going to add the boiling sauce. I'm going to do the sweet and sour sauce, and then I'll thicken it up with the corn flour. Now the sauce is already in, and all I'm doing now is just mixing up a little bit of that corn flour with a little bit of water, and that's going to thicken it up. But you don't want to make it too thick, you just put a little bit in, and stir it in, until it sort of just starts to take a bit. Because you still want a bit of juice in there as well. Let's face it, Dr. Love always loves the juicy bits. Stir it in, and there we have it. A simple sweet and sour pork. Well, I'm Dr. Love. Thanks for joining me for another cooking session today. There's nothing like love and food going together. Don't forget you can join me on Friday nights from 10 PM on 101.1 FM for Love Radio.